Mic check 1 2. It's the Y2K Collector, and if you didn't like Nintendo's direct presentation before, you're really gonna not like it after you hear what I have to tell you. Many of you may have already heard this, but the pre-orders that were supposed to begin next week for the Switch 2 have been pushed back, and they've been pushed back due to the recently imposed tariffs. Now, they have not said when pre-orders will be, but what Nintendo is trying to do right now is figure out how much more they're going to charge you and me for their new console along with the new games. This is very important because we already know that the price point for the Switch 2 was $449. If you got the bundle, it was $499, and the standalone pricing for the Mario Kart World was, I think it was either $80 or $90, with the majority of the Switch 2 physical games coming in at $70. If they have to raise prices even 10%, even a 10% raise in the price of the Switch would mean an additional $45 to $50, bringing the price of the Switch by itself to at least $500 plus tax. Now, my mind says that they're going to have to raise that price by probably 15 to 20%. If they're able to avoid that, then great for you and me. But honestly, I don't see how. You see, China tried to take measures to skirt around these tariffs that they assumed would be coming. And so they moved a lot of their production to Vietnam. The only problem is that there are also tariffs on Vietnam at 46%. So again, for this new console that seems really nice and a lot of people want, but we're already very upset about the price, we're now looking at paying anywhere between 15 and 25% more for this console. If it does in fact wind up being 25% more, my God, you're looking at another $120 to $130 on top of the $450. This is essentially going to cost the price of like a PlayStation 5 or a PlayStation 5 Pro. And I genuinely do not know how many people are going to be willing to spend that kind of money on video games. I really don't. On top of that, you also have to think about what the price increase is going to be on each video game. They're already $70. So if you increase them by 10, now you're at 77, possibly 80, and it just goes up from there. This feels a lot, and eerily enough, it feels a lot like 2020 because of the financial uncertainty aspect of it. Now, granted, it's a lot more controllable than 2020 because 2020 was a natural disaster. It was an act of God. It was a freak of nature. We really couldn't control that. This situation is definitely a lot more controllable, and it's definitely a lot more man-made, for lack of better terms. Nevertheless, the financial impact to your wallet is going to be the same. Now, as gamers, obviously, and as people who want to buy these video games, this hurts, right? But I've mentioned this in plenty of videos before, and every single time I get that one person who says, stop trying to create fear, stop lying, stop this, stop that, because people want to bury their head in the sand and they refuse to live in reality. I'm telling you right now, there is a real world outside of the world of video games. And what we're seeing right now is what happens when that real world and real world circumstances collide with the world of video games. I know a lot of times it's easy to isolate yourself with your games and with your collections and live in an echo chamber of YouTube and Reddit and Discords and people who are all saying the same things you're saying. But at the end of the day, nothing is going to stop the fact that this is happening, whether you like it or not, whether you agree with it or not. I don't agree with it. I'm not a fan of it. I do not like the fact that this is happening. And to be honest, when I created my feedback video for the direct presentation, I honestly was just trying to focus on the positive. Of course, paying $450 for a console sucks. No one wants to pay $80 for each game that you buy. But my concentration was really just trying to highlight the positive things that I pulled from the direct. But at this stage of the game, with this news, it's going to feel almost impossible to ignore all the negatives surrounding this release. It sucks. It really sucks because in some ways it feels like Nintendo couldn't have picked a worse time to release their new console, but it is what it is. So yeah, if you had high hopes of getting this console, get ready to wait as long as you had to wait to get your hands on the PlayStation 5, because between the pricing and between these tariffs and between limited availability, scalpers are about to go nuts on the PlayStation 2. I'm telling you right, I'm sorry, not the PlayStation 2, the Switch 2. Scalpers are going to go nuts on the Switch 2. And I would not be surprised if you see the Switch 2 being resold on eBay for $1,000+ once people can actually get their hands on it. I guarantee you, because it is probably going to be really difficult to get for at least the first 3 to 6 months of the product's launch, whenever they decide to launch it. That's what we're going to be looking at. So it's a bummer. It sucks. I know many of you are going to hate this, but let me know what you think about it down in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next video. It's the Y2K Collector. Take it easy.